It's been a little while since I last updated you on the goings-on with my VR development and stuff. Here we have a prototype, as you can see from that little placard on the table just there. A prototype for a puzzle game that I'm developing, actually as part of a school project. Which is great! Only for a few reasons, but the main reason is that I get to justify spending my time doing VR development when most of the people are doing schoolwork. It's fantastic! And here we have it, yes, a puzzle game. A puzzle game that's probably going to be based mainly on moving cubes and swatting objects and other such things that you will see demonstrated in this prototype. First of all, we have this. I can make a cube orbit my hand. Ah, it's so cool. It's so cool. This is much more developed than anything I've developed before, which is an interesting way of phrasing things. The way this mechanic in particular works is you touch a cube or cause a cube to be touched by a certain type of object, and then it will be attracted to the palm of your right hand. You can move your hand around and it'll always try and follow you. And the objective of the prototype is simply to put all 9 cubes in the box that is to the left of the screen right now. Now I said you can either touch a cube or you can cause a cube to be touched, and I meant that quite literally. The cubes are mainly out of reach, with the exception of a few first ones. And in order to get these cubes to be activated or touched by any sort of object, we have 2 spawnable objects at our disposal. These little multicolored marbles, which quite miraculously I actually managed to flick at the perpetually dropping cube over there in the distance. And we also have these red balls, both of which are summoned by the blue and red buttons on the table, which make that nice sound when pressed. And yes, it is actually a sound. I didn't get any sound effects for this, other than the music you can hear, which is the royalty-free stuff that I always use on my streams. Yeah, the is me-ing. I'm intending maybe as an idea to make the entire game's sound library just using my voice. Oh, wouldn't that be an interesting challenge? Anyway, so we can generate objects using these buttons, and then we can move these objects around using my hands. And for clarification, in case this is the first time you've seen any of my VR development logs, this is using the Oculus Rift DK2 for the head tracking and the VR immersion and what have you, and the Leap Motion for hand tracking, which is a separate device from the DK2. And that's mounted on the front, and it optically recognizes the position of my hands, which is then both put into Unity, as is the game development environment we're using right now. And you can see that's a counter on the box and also on that big screen up in the distance there, counting how many cubes I've collected. There's a release button next to the hand, but I'm not using it, am I? You may have remembered from the very start of the video, I can activate a cube and then press that button to cause it to drop, or I can just swipe my left hand over the right, which is actually a bug, but it's a bug that I'm going to keep and actually, properly develop, because the whole swiping action, it turns out, is much preferable. It's a much more natural gesture than pressing some obstructive floating button. And there we go. I win. I win. That's nice to say, isn't it? I win. I win. Yeah. And we get some nice music with it as well. You may have noticed that the music is actually being generated from the object. So when I fling it away, the music drops and then, yeah, does that. I think half the fun of this prototype doesn't actually come from the game mechanics itself. It comes from just flicking things around on a table. So in the actual game, and I'm having people, my friends, real life, I'm having real life friends test this, and based on their feedback and what they find fun and what they find frustrating, I'll be redesigning my idea for what the game will actually end up being. But I think already that I know I'm going to try and emphasize just messing about with objects on the table, like we've got right here. We can create a tower of multicolored cubes and just knock them down using objects and fling things around. It's fun. It really is quite fun. And hopefully you can gauge that just from watching this video. So thank you very much for watching. If you have liked this video, then please do like the video, and subscribe and follow me on Twitter for more updates on this VR development if you are interested. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.